when you launched that Edmonton location, so you have this brand, sounds like they were established in Calgary. What was it like going into this brand new market? Where did you have clients signed up, or did you really have to start from zero?
We were almost starting from zero. So we had 2 clients, and when they were interviewing me, of course, the founders were pulling out all of these, like the database of folks that had come to marketing events, and so I was sort of under the impression there were a whole bunch of people like kind of chomping at the bit to sign up. We just didn't have a salesperson here, and once we got the salesperson, so
they sold you.
There wasn't a bait and switch. There was, I think they were posturing maybe a little bit, and so once I started, I realized that we got a big mountain to climb here, and I've never been through anything like it, because I've always worked in established organizations, right, where my role was important, but the reputation was out there. There were tons of customers to sell into already and to get referrals from. This was a completely different animal where nobody really knew who we were, and there's nobody quite like us, and so it was hard for them to relate to what we even did. It wasn't like I was joining like a startup insurance company or something,
right,
where everybody has a commercial insurance provider. You're just trying to convince them to do business with you instead.
Mm-hmm.
And so it was, but for some reason in that struggle, I remember thinking to myself, like, we have 2 customers. I don't know where the third and the fourth one is going to come from, but I'm really excited to try.
Yeah.
And so I remember sitting in my chair at my desk at the time, and imagining the future, and just really being excited about trying to create something incredible and create community. And then confronting the sobering reality is like, I have no clue how we're going to get there.
You just know you're going to somehow.
Yeah.
Yeah. So those first couple of years in business, when you're starting out, what was that like? Did you find it pretty easy to get your first few clients? Or I would love to hear specifically about the first 6 months.
Well, I found it very difficult, and
right.
and then I was used to working in environments where there was frequent transactions,
right?
And that's kind of how you judge your worth as a salesperson. Are you actually closing any deals? And so in the first 6 months I was here, I brought on 1 customer. In the first 12 months I was here, I think I brought on 3 or 4. So I had to recalibrate what progress meant,
right,
and what it looked like. And I had to find sort of small wins on the way to bigger wins to, I think, not only make myself feel okay, but also to demonstrate to the partners that I was a person worth hanging on to.
Right.
Because I think they had expectations of that the client growth was going to be accelerated compared to what was actually happening. So I basically, for me, it was always about just trying to spend time with anybody and anyone that would have a coffee with me. And the more people I met with, and I started with my close circle, so people that I knew already.
Yeah.
And it ended up like the first 2 customers that we brought on, they were already close personal friends and happened to own businesses. Alberta Traffic Supply, and with Lane Hooper, and Original Joe's Restaurant Group with Tim Gordon. So so they were the first companies. 2 folks. So I owe them a huge debt of gratitude, because they took a flyer on us when we literally had hardly any clients. But there's a weird thing about Edmonton. Like, I love the title of your podcast, Winning in Edmonton, because I think this is one of the best places in the world to start something. Because I think if you have something that's valuable and useful, this community will lift you up and open doors for you beyond your wildest expectations. And I started finding that as we started to gain a little bit of momentum, as the work that we do was working with the small core group of clients, I was constantly getting introduced to other people, invited into conversations, into rooms, into events that were filled with other business owners. And I think what I've learned through this experience, in hindsight, things seem quick and easier, but when you're in the middle of it, boy, does it seem slow. But it's incredible. Like, if you do the right things week in and week out for a long time, the cumulative impact of our efforts can be absolutely transformational in the long run.